Hello everyone. Hello. This is a bit different, as you can probably tell. The screen's probably very narrow and all that. I've gotten an HTC One phone, which has got a pretty decent camera on it, and so I might start using this a little bit from now on, because the other camera, the big thing that was holding me back from like making videos on this channel was just a I'm just gonna chalk it all up to laziness, I suppose. And the other camera is not like that it's difficult to make videos on, but it takes time to like get like the lighting all good and all that, and then like import the videos onto my PC and all that. So just using a phone could, in theory, just make the whole process a good bit better and make it more easier and all that. But that's actually not the point of this video. The point is, lately I've been lately I've been thinking a lot. I've sort of been coming up with this idea for a while now about getting a new PC sometime. And I've decided I think I'm going to try to shoot for that possibly this Christmas. And I've got really no experience when it comes to I don't really know much about all the parts and all that. And so like for the PC that I have now, I've just I think I got it from Dell or something. It's like a Dell Inspiron something, and for the most part, it's lasted me fairly well. I only had to I replaced the video card at one point because the performance wasn't doing too well, and the power supply a couple times. 'Cause I think the first power supply wasn't powerful enough for the video card that I put into it, and then that power supply that I put into it died on me in like mid 2011, and so I had to get that replaced. But for the most part, it's been doing well. So at first I just like looked up pre-built stuff I was reading about, and I couldn't really find anything that I would have suited me. I felt that was I had a price range that I could like deal with and had the performance that I wanted. Which I'm not actually really sure what performance I would want, because when it comes down to it, I'm a very like non-critical person, and so I couldn't care less if it's 30 frames or 60 frames or 1080p or 720p or whatever. But when you see numbers and all that, and you see higher numbers, you tend to sort of I don't know, like, because I know very well that I don't care if something runs at 60 frames or 70 frames or whatever, as like a lot of these benchmarking sites will post. But those numbers still like do stuff in my head when I know very well that they shouldn't, if that makes sense. So I was looking at a CyberPower PC, and I found some stuff that sort of interested me, but then I read some reviews of their stuff, and a lot of it's a lot of stories of people being very unsatisfied with their product. So I decided to not go for a pre-built, and I think what I'm just going to do is buy all the parts separately, and instead of like building it myself, which is what a lot of people do, because the whole idea of like building a PC, that's just witchcraft to me, really. That is, I don't understand. What? I'll probably just take it up to like the local PC shop and have them put it together, because I can do that. And I've come up with something that seems to be alright. From what I can see here, I probably will change out some stuff, because there's some stuff that I'm uncertain about, and so I guess a big part of this video is me to hopefully ask you guys any like technical dudes what you guys think of this. How well do you think this would run? How much of an upgrade this would be? And do any of the parts that I'm listing here come off as incompatible? And I'll have like a link or whatever down below of what this currently is. But like I said, this is subject to change. Right, for CPU, I got an AMD FX 6300 3.5 gigahertz 6-core processor. And doing research on this, apparently, I'm not quite sure if people, there's a lot of like forum threads titled, should I go with an AMD 6-core or an Intel quad-core? So I'm not sure, even though this is 6 cores, I'm not sure if it's actually on par with like a 6-core machine. So I'm not really sure why they're comparing a 6-core. I'm not. It's weird. Well, I would think that 6 cores would be better than 4 cores, but I'm sure that there's some weird stuff that I don't really get. But because like the Intel 6 cores were much more expensive, which I guess would lead me to believe that that there's something fishy going on or something. Maybe, I'm not sure. Cooler. The cooler I put. This is the cooling stuff. I don't really have any idea about. But I've just selected Cooler Master Hyper 212 plus 68.8 CFM sleeve bearing CPU cooler. I'm not sure because the site itself has got a compatibility thingamajig where it'll tell you if the parts are known to be incompatible, and it doesn't really say anything, so I'm just going to assume that everything's fine. Motherboard, an Asus M5A 996 Evo R2.0 ATX AM3 Plus motherboard, which that was something that the compatibility was showing up for, because I got this this motherboard selected. I like have to have an AMD CPU, and I believe I would have to change the motherboard if I want to change the CPU. Corsair 16 gigabyte. That's two sticks of 8 gigabyte DDR3 1600 memory. Which I guess I know there's people that go up to like 64 gigabytes, but from what I understand, 16 should be just enough. Storage, got ADATA Premiere Pro SP600 64 gigabyte 2.5 inches solid state drive, which I guess I would just like boot the operating system off of, and I wouldn't really have any plan on putting actual stuff on it. And a Seagate Barracuda 3 terabyte 3.5 inch 7200 RPM internal hard drive, which would actually be the thing that I've got stuff on, which would be a massive improvement over like the 300 gigabyte hard drive I've got now, because I'm always like deleting, because I always get like really nervous because I don't really like, because I've got like 60 gigabytes free on this PC, and even at that I realize I shouldn't be, but I'm terrified with that. Because, like, I don't know, there's just, like, a fraction where, like, once I go below, like, a certain threshold, I just get worried for some reason. And, I guess just to clear things up for what I've got now, like, right now I've got, like, an AMD Athlon dual-core, I'm not sure what the motherboard is, but I've got 3 gigs of RAM. So, like, that, I would assume even if the 6-core drive isn't as like powerful as it might sound, I would still have to imagine that it's still a good bit of an upgrade from a dual core. Video card, MSI GeForce GTX 760 2GB video card. I originally had the 660 Ti selected, but then just reading about people were saying to go for the 760, and also a friend of mine was telling me to go for AMD 7750 or something like that, which I might do, but that's what I got selected. I've currently got in this computer I've got an AMD Radeon HD 6870, which is pretty new, I believe, and by that I mean like 2 years old. A Rosewill RNX N250 PCE 802.11b/G/N PCI Express, one Wi-Fi adapter, which I guess you just put inside the PC, and I guess then you would be able to pick up wireless networks. Because right now I've got like something that like plugs into the back of the PC, and so having it actually go into the PC would be pretty cool. An Nzxt Phantom ATX full tower case, which I'm not quite sure how big that is. I'm not sure what mine is, but I would have to imagine that's fairly huge. Which I would imagine is good. I guess you would really need all the space you can get for stuff. I have no idea what I'm talking about really. A case fan. Now the case fan is something that they don't have compatibility stuff for, so I'm not actually sure if this would work. But I've selected a Cooler Master Megaflow 110 CFM 200mm fan, just because that was like something with high ratings. Now this is something that I also did have to get a fan replaced in this PC because it was making a weird noise. Like if you go back to like some of my videos from like April-ish 2011, there were some videos where you can hear in the background on my microphone there's like a sound that's going on, and because I had to get like the fan replaced, and I got a fan off of Amazon one time. That was like $5, and I took that into like the PC shop, and it turns out that fan didn't fit, and so I had to get like a bigger one. So I'm not quite sure exactly of how I would find out if that fan fits or not, because I'm not sure what that actually plugs into, but hopefully that would do well. Power supply, Seasonic 660 watt 80 plus platinum certified ATX 12V E/EPS12V power supply, which seems to be good, I suppose. Like I've currently got a 6. Actually, I think that's less watts than I've currently got. I think I've currently got 680 watts, so that might be something I want to improve. But at the same time, this estimates that the wattage would be 390 watts, so I imagine I'm fine. Optical drive, Asus DRW24B 1ST B as DVD CD writer. Basically just a DVD drive. Couldn't really imagine what I would use Blu-ray for. Like I guess I've got like a PS3 and a TV if I want to watch movies, so that wouldn't really help me. Windows 7 Home Premium and a new monitor that's actually like a pretty big and by pretty big I mean like 23 inches and 1080p, because this monitor that I got now is about, I think, like 18 inches and 768p, which is quite smaller. But so I would be upgrading quite a bit. That's all I got selected. From the people that I've from like the friends of mine that I've asked about this, they've said that it looks pretty solid. But I guess I would just want to clarify with people that possibly will know more about it. I guess like really my main concern would be the case fan, if people think that would fit, and also just the CPU. Like, would that be able to handle a good bit of stuff? Because also, like, it's like, because I've looked up like videos of like people like playing games or whatever on, like, whenever I had like a question, I would just like Google or something like Battlefield 4 ultra settings on this blah blah blah, and like it seems to do fairly well. But also I do, since I do the whole YouTube thing, I'm also rendering a lot of videos, and so that would greatly help with render times. But even then as well, it's not like my render times aren't really that bad, because I do a lot of rendering. I use the graphics card as well, and so usually like it takes me maybe like a half hour to render a 20-minute video. And so I would have to imagine that even if this is only on the level of a quad core, I would have to imagine that that would still give a good bit of a boost to rendering, but I'm not quite sure. And that totals out to about $1,300, which, as expensive as it is a lot better than a lot of the pre-built stuff that I was finding. So hopefully that'll be good. And so if there are people that know what they're doing with like computers and all that, I would recommend to give your input as to what I've selected. And yeah, now that I'm actually using the phone as well, this would be able to do a lot more on the go type stuff, like just like going out for like a jog or something, and record along the way. But yeah, that's basically that. So I would like to know your input, and thank you, and see you another time.